So in the beginning of the conversation, you're talking about exit strategies for business. One thing that is very common in our industry is that barbers don't think about the future. So they start cutting hair, they have this dream, they open a shop, the shop is doing well, they have a couple staff working for them, but usually they don't have an exit strategy. And years later, they're older and they don't know what to do because they didn't plan. So what would be a good strategy for a barber shop in the sense that this person can retire or work less hours and still have the income coming and being able to afford his life, his family, whatever?
Right. So step number one is, what do you want to do? Right? I mean, there are some people who genuinely, they're artisans, they're craftsmen. They genuinely want to cut hair, right? Whether their client's a male, a female, doesn't matter. They love it. They want to do it. If you're trading your time for money and that's what you're always going to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not making a value judgment. You have to figure out a way to make more money for your time, right? And the way to do that is A, get really good at what you're doing, and B, have other people doing the things that are, I'll call it lower value hair, right? So for example, I'm a balding middle-aged guy. For years, I did my own hair. Well, my wife did my hair. I said, here's the clipper, put it on number one.
Looks like your wife did.
Yeah, no, right. You better be careful because this haircut's from your shop. Yeah, here's number one, and that's what my wife could do it. She didn't learn how to do hair. She didn't, I mean, in the beginning, the edges were cockeyed or whatever, but eventually she learned, right? But it's a low value, right? So if you have a shop and they're, let's say 50% of the people who are coming in just want a regular haircut, you want to have other people available to just do the regular haircut, because what you're doing is creating scarcity of your own time, right? So it's harder to get an appointment with you particularly. And since it's harder, you're more valuable, which means you can make more money, right? So now the question is, what do you do over time? Over time, you want to continue to increase your own. I mean, there are people who charge hundreds of dollars for a haircut, right? I mean, $100 now, that's what a doctor makes, right? So your goal, that's number one. And then whatever money you take home, don't spend it like a dummy. Invest it, some of it, right? You have to keep track of your personal expenses. So that's one thought, right? The second one, though, is how can I build this business so that someone else would want it? It's not going to happen in a year or 2 years, usually, right? But if I spend the next 10 years working on this business, in other words, the business is the product, not the haircuts that I give. The business itself is the product. How do I make this business attractive so that someone else would buy it? You work towards that. It doesn't matter, by the way, you don't have to think right away who would buy it, because I can give you many examples of who might buy your business. And why don't I do it right now? I mean, it might be someone who's working in your business, or a few people that are working in your business. It might be someone else who has a couple of shops that are similar to yours or salons that are similar to yours, and they want to grow their business, right? So they might buy yours to become part of their part of their business, right? You never know. It might be your own children, because you've done such a good job building this business that it makes sense for your own children to take over the business. We forget that in order to take over the business and for you to benefit from it, your children have to, quote unquote, buy the business from you, but we're getting a little complicated. The point is, goes back to the conversation about strategy. And the first part of the strategy is, what do you want?
Always go back to what you want.
Right? And by the way, you can change your mind. So you can say for 5-10 years, I'm doing this so that I'm an artisan, I want to do this, I want to charge $500 a haircut. And then 10 years later say, you know what, I think I want to sell this business. And you didn't waste your time. Now you have a different challenge, which is find who else can cut hair for $500 a pop, right, and carry on the name of your business. Or maybe something else comes up. You come up with a line of hair products, right? Or you decide you become so good at running your business because you've been thinking about how to make it run efficiently that you can sell the process of running the business, right? That's what franchising is, sometimes licensing. If someone buys a Dunkin' Donuts, what are they buying? They're buying the name, but they're buying all the processes. They don't have to think about anything.
True.
And in fact, I would suggest that for every small business is write down all of your processes as if you were going to sell your business. Everything from step 1, 10 o'clock on Tuesday, come in, unlock the door, turn on the lights, relock the door. Go to the back, turn on all the lights, sweep the floor, like every step, so that if someone else had to do it, they could do it.
And once you have all that information in your hands, that leads you somewhere,
100%,
somewhere better.
100%.
Wow.
The information itself has value.
Yes.
It's like having a mailing list. If you have a shop and you have a very good email list of hundreds of names of people, everyone, it's probably better, thousands of names, of course, but of people who we know at least they're interested in hair products and hair set, someone will buy that list from you.
Yes.